Hello there, Tom Holyby with Ashgar Defense. I want to take a minute to talk about point shooting. Seems to be that a lot of people seem to not understand what it is they're doing. It's called point shooting, as prescribed by Fairburn and Sykes, two different individuals who were cops in China, came up with this idea that while shooting at the hip, you could engage a threat, 15 yards and in. And I've gotten into a few debates with people who seem to think that predictive shooting or getting the natural feel and shooting guns is not point shooting. It is point shooting. You've absolutely done everything you could to describe. I've heard people say, I don't even use the sights. I point the gun out there and I don't even need the sights because it's just so natural in my hand. You mean point shooting, right? You mean you're really good at point shooting. It's a skill set. It's a thing that people can do. I'm not arguing that, but I would like you to call it what it is and stop pretending that you've just discovered some newfangled idea. It's an older idea that it's fine. We called it firing from the hip. That's how we used to do things. It's okay. You use your body. I point this way, the gun points with me. That's what it was. Hold up there. The number one cause of death, gunshot related in the Wild West was gut shots. Because when you drew the revolver, you brought it to its quickest point, which was about here, and you took the shot, which was a point shot. You're just pointing it at the guy and shooting. Bang! You even fanned it. Cowboys weren't using sights, and if you look at this thing, which is a clone, there weren't really sights to use. This isn't something we would use. Not even by today's, especially not by today's standards. Back then, you definitely didn't either. You just used that if it was really far away, outside of the range of point shooting. And of course, the real cause of death was not the gunshot wound, but the infection you got, because doing this, you're probably going to shoot them in the intestines, and intestines are a really gross place. So yeah, it's point shooting. These guys have gone out of their way to describe point shooting. I've got a natural feel. I do predictive shooting. I can predict where the gun's going to point. Yeah, point shooting. Thank you. It's not point shooting. Yeah, yes, it is. You can keep describing all you want, but all you've done successfully is describe to me point shooting. I don't use my sights. I'm so fast and I know where it's going. It's fine. Do what you got to do. This whole debate was born out of someone telling me that QD red dots on a pistol was stupid. Because the thunderous power of the 9mm cartridge would shake the QD mount loose and it would fall off. Except I've seen QD mounted dots on 50 BMGs, Barrett 50 cals, 240 Bravos, miniguns, Dishkas, PKM machine guns, you name it. I've seen a QD mounted dot on it with iron sights for robustness. And they don't seem to go flopping off. So would probably behoove that individual to, maybe do some research before you start talking. History books are not expensive, and you have these small devices, typically in our back pockets, that have the power of the universe, and you could just Google, hey, is it possible? And you could watch a shit ton of videos of 50 BMGs with dots on them going on. Information's out there. It's free. It doesn't cost you a dime to learn anything. It's right up there with people who sit there and say that injuries to limbs in a gunfight isn't a thing, that you won't get shot in the arm or wherever. I literally just saw a cop video from a helicopter, and a police officer said, "Stop being a bad guy." And the bad guy said, "Fuck you, pig," and he fired. Without looking at his sights, by the way. He was doing the predictive shooting, and the cop was using his sights. And when the guy fired, it went straight into his gun arm. That's where the bullet went. So it was captured, and this has been captured twice now in Well, probably more than twice, but twice in my most recent recollection. So that police video was one. The second time it's happened was actually at the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting. Kyle Rittenhouse bifurcated Gage Grosskreutz bicep, his right bicep, which also happened to be holding his gun, because Kyle Rittenhouse predictively shot right into the thing that posed the threat. See, what we do internally in our internal mechanisms is we perceive the threat, which is this thing here. I am not the threat. This is the threat. This is what we're looking at. This is what has our attention. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Ability, opportunity, and intent. Do I have the ability? Do I have the intent? Right? I think I have the ability, the opportunity, and the intent. So that's what we kind of focus on. So oftentimes, I've seen it happen a few times on paper targets that happen to have human targets on them with guns, is the bullets tend to go where the gun is, especially when the student starts to get more and more stressed out. The natural reaction is to focus on the thing that's threatening them, and that's where the bullets go. So that means arms are kind of a target. In Vietnam, number one injury for American service members was neck and head. This is well documented. We as the government, we spent a lot of money trying to figure out why it was all neck and head. It was then that we discovered that, well, that's what I'm giving you when I pop out of cover. It's my neck and head, and wouldn't you know it, there's a gun in front of me too. So probably double reason to shoot there, right? After that, we kind of figured out, hey, go around the cover. It's safer and less of you gets pointed out. And if the bullet goes into the gun, it's not a big deal. We'll get you another gun. We can't put you another head on you. Again, these are things that aren't that complicated to discover if you know how Google works, or Brave, or any Bing, or any of the other search engines that you may have, and questions you may have can be easily dictated and learned by just figuring it out. And as such, because we know that injuries to arms can happen, it would probably, again, behoove you to maybe get good at shooting with the other hand. I understand the predictive shooting, the point shooting, the natural shooting that these people go out there and talk about as if they're not point shooting won't be available to them if they're using an offhand. So I'm lefty, so my offhand's my right hand. So I can't predictively, naturally point of aim shoot this, because I'm not going to spend that much time shooting with my offhand to gain that same skill set as I do with this hand. Again, no problems. It's just we should really just be focusing on calling it what it is. It's okay, and don't act like such an arrogant douche about it. It's fine. It's something that someone else thought was a great idea a long time ago. They generated enough data and information to prove that it does work, and at some point, it kind of fell off. It was a trend, like laser grips and push-on grips and stippled handgun grips. It's a trend. It comes, it goes. I'm not old enough to have been around for it, but I know a few people who were around for the 300 Whisper. So that came, and everyone said it was the great new thing, and it went. And then it came back as the 300 Blackout, and everyone said it's the hot new thing. And then it went again, because I don't see any of those getting sold anymore, and they certainly don't make their appearances at classes, because all you did basically was buy an AKAR. So good job on that. It's a trend. Right now, point shooting is back in favor. That's really all there is to that. I'm waiting for bayonets to make a comeback. That'll be cool. Have all the guns have bayonet lugs on them again, so we can stick knives on there. I'm genuinely curious what new trend is going to come out of the woodwork. Maybe it'll be 5.7 will come back again. Maybe lasers come back again. I'm kind of starting to dig lasers, especially since the tech for them has gotten significantly better. And technically, lasers have already come back, just in their IR form. which they make really good point shooting devices. I put the dot on the guy. I didn't use my sights. It was dot, bang. All right. So that's just a little bit of historical context of point shooting and limb damage. Just because a guy shoots a lot of bullets doesn't mean he does a lot of time thinking. So just be careful of that. Your instructors should be students of history so that they can lead you away from things we already know don't work, right? We probably could have told you, good instructors probably could have told you that the 40 Smith & Wesson was a failed idea, not because it was a bastard idea, but because it was a toned down 10 millimeter. And the only reason we did that is because the FBI agents didn't want to shoot 10 millimeter. They wanted something that shot lighter than 10 millimeter. And really all that just to come back to 9 millimeter anyways, because really it was just a failing on the agent's part, but the agency didn't want to admit that. It's not our fault that our guns didn't work and our ammunition was sub-quality. I got news for you. The 9 millimeter cartridge has existed since 1908. The American government adopted the 9 millimeter in the 80s. Someone fucked it up, and it definitely wasn't the 9 millimeter. Just given how old it is. It's actually older than the 45 ACP, technically. So just something to think about. If you got questions, check history books first. There's a lot of parallels. We seem to keep traversing these ideas, these concepts. And chances are it's already been done. Somebody already tried it. You want to look for the detractions for the original idea, not the detractions or the positives of the current thing. Hope this helps somebody.